and I was like, oh, fucking hell, yeah. Hey!
I tell you, is there a better lamp than a Unilight? Fucking sex it is.
You,
Sex.
you can clip this. Oh,
Listen, why have you got a £300 light in the background?
did we not say in the thing? Don't
There's
talk.
no way you bought that. No way you bought that.
You borrowed them. You borrowed them.
He's borrowed them. He's borrowed their empty boxes. He's borrowed off Nick.
Oh, I'll have you know there's a... No, it is empty.
Hello and welcome. We're back, Monday Club. Happy Monday to everyone, or whatever day it is you're listening. Now, today, we are recording on a Friday, so we're all drinking alcohol. I'm drinking bourbon. Beanbag Face is drinking some weird little can, and Savo is drinking the strongest beer he could find in the off license.
And the most pricey Carlsberg I've ever paid for, motherfuckers.
See, this is what I have to deal with.
This is the third take. Anyone who's watching the show, listen to an audio. This is the third take, and Sam is getting ragged.
Do you know what it is? You know what it is? Like, YouTube are a pain in the dick if you swear in the first 5 minutes. And Davo, without foul, is going to swear at least 15 times in the first minutes.
Are they still? Are they? That used to be a thing. They didn't want you to swear in the first minute or something because it would piss off advertisers. But I think they've dropped that, so I don't think you need to worry about that anymore. You
I don't
asshole.
think there's no control over what they do. What they do, I think we can only get people on here now with our personality because YouTube won't recommend us. So we're totally screwed.
This is what I have to deal with. It's like the oldest person is actually more childish than me.
You look quite old. My earphones
you look
stuck in my ear
fucked.
again.
Who, me? I look fat.
Yeah, you look wrecked. What the fuck?
How rude. The stressful week that I've been put through by Jamie and his nonsense.
I've had a really quiet week, mate. What are you on about?
Yeah, exactly. Right, so this episode, as always, is brought to you by the awesome
Verso.
Come on, listen. I love their stuff. I've put it in Harper's bedroom, and it is as good as anything I've used, and I love it. I love the company, and I love everything about them. So
I have this week messaged them. I want something specific for a job, and I messaged them because I should put my money where my mouth is a boss and this stuff. So I'm going to try it out. But I have messaged them, and they got back to me and told me about it.
oh, that's good then, isn't it?
I just thought I'd say that I've had a positive
If I
experience.
can join in on the loving, if I could join in, I fitted a Verso RCBO this week myself.
Oh, so you've actually got one. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it was all right. I had to go to an independent to get it though, and there's only one independent around here, and I don't really use them, so I had to go and pay on my credit card, which made me feel like a bit like a tool station tramp.
Yes, but the thing is, with the Verso stuff, it's surprised. Like, and I'm not saying this because I'm paid by it, right? I'm saying it because
You've already said it's as good as anything else.
well, it is, though, isn't it? Like,
Praise indeed.
I've only really installed the sockets and switches and Fuseboards and stuff like that. Mate, it's as good as anything else. I'd say better than most.
Sam says,
But I'm
use it.
biased. But I'm biased.
Shall we quickly touch on what we've talked about in the week that wouldn't we are now?
Mate, the most boring subject. Jamie's.
I've got to say this. I've got to say it.
Wait. You have been hounding me about this nonsense, but because Jamie, like, what people might not know now is Jamie is the podcast manager, really.
I deal with it. I just want to say, because of my boring week, things happened. Yeah, this podcast is following the advertising standard agency rules now. Not that we haven't. We're not turning anything out. We're advertised. We're not doing any hidden advertising. We are not mis-selling you. You can count on that. If
Unless
we say
I'm sponsored
decent,
by Genius at Work Signs.
if we've used it and we say we've used it, that means we've genuinely used it. You can take that to the bank and cash it. That's just what I want everyone to know, that we are not doing any underhand advertising outside of the rules. Just want to get that out there. Thank you.
No one cares. Right, moving on swiftly. Savo, what have you been up to? It's been a while since you've been on the old pod. You definitely haven't been on the old pod since my new partner in crime. What have you been up to? What's new? What's good?
Just lots of work, old man. Lots of work. I can't fucking. It's like playing whack-a-mole. I can't keep on top of it. For every job I clear off, another fucking three come in.
Is that why there's no
Really?
videos? Is that why there's no videos?
That's part of the reason. Yeah, another week I had a very busy September in my personal time. Had to attend a wedding in Devon one weekend. Had to dump my daughter off at university in Cornwall another weekend. Had to dump another daughter off up north another weekend. It's just like I've been all over the place and just haven't had time. But also, I haven't had anything particularly of interesting to video. I don't want to just put out any old shite. Although I do have one kind of an edit that is shite, and I might just puke it out just to prove that I'm still alive.
I'm on Ten Rocks,
Just
aren't you?
about.
Bringing out, I can't remember if you said it somewhere. You're bringing out an energy one, aren't you? Which I'm on Ten Rocks about. Is that right? I've got that
Bringing
right.
on what?
One on energy pricing and stuff. No, is that right? I heard that.
I did start doing some recording about that, and it's like everything else. I've got hours and hours of footage on all sorts of different things, and no time to stitch it together into any kind of semblance of sanity. And that's the problem, really. It's I'm so behind on things like my work invoices, kind of getting paid for what I do, so I can pay Nigel the peanuts I pay him. So yeah, it's like, should I sit down this weekend and fart about on some video nonsense that
I thought
500 people are going to watch, or should I actually get some invoices out and get paid?
Didn't you have a new helper?
Helper?
Yeah, you had a new
Which
helper,
helper?
a female. On one of your
Himmler?
videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You boys are breaking up. I can't hear what the fuck you say.
Didn't you have a new helper on one of your latest videos, a female?
No, that's his mate, isn't it? He's just got long hair.
New helper. Linda was with us. That
Oh,
was last year.
Sam.
That's it, yeah.
No, well, she lives in Sheffield, up north, somewhere near Jamie, I imagine.
Proper
she's
northern people in the Midlands.
Yeah. So she's not here, but which is a shame because she was very good. But,
What's the work? What are you getting? What's coming through the door? Normal shit, energy saving shit.
Oh yeah.
What's going off in the
no,
world of domestic?
Just the usual shit, the EICRs and I want my socket here and I want my light switch there and I want.
Are you not getting? I was in the Ulsters the other day. I was in Nottingham Edmonton's, and I overheard a rep come in and they just started chatting shit to the account like we do to the guy in the thing, and he said, "Oh, it's really drying up. We're having a lot of people not coming in. Trade's really down. Not near your area, you know." Or is that not domestic?
Not from my end. No, it's fucking wall to wall here.
Yeah, but that's good. Do you think that's to do with you as a tradesman, your business, or your advertising? What are you doing differently to get this amount of work coming in?
I think certainly reputation goes a long way, and obviously I've been going for 10 years now. So
what do you do then?
People know I am. People know who we are. They know that we deal with them squarely, and my biggest problem is getting the fucking estimates out. I just ain't got time to get estimates out. So there's all sorts of jobs just dying on the fucking vine there, just because I haven't put my finger out my arse and said, yeah, it's going to cost 60 quid to do this or £5,000 to do that or whatever, because I just ain't got time to put them together.
So you a proponent of estimates rather than quotes?
I'll only give a quote if I know for damn sure what the job is. Like I rewired the place and I know that when they say they want X over there and Y over here, it's like, yeah, I know exactly how I'm going to do that. Otherwise, there's an estimate. My estimates are fucking usually on the fucking nose.
I thought you were hardcore. You publish all your rates on your website, don't you?
What, sorry?
You publish all your rates on your website.
Yes.
So what's the estimate of it for you? Just the time and materials plus those rates.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you get it wrong.
I have to sit down there and think, okay, I've got to picture myself on site. How am I going to do this job? It's like yesterday we installed a new shower feed for someone. How am I going to get from the consumer unit to the bathroom? How's that going to happen? You think about all the bits you need, the PVC conduit, the conduit boxes, it was going up an outside boiler, the cable, the isolator, the RCBO, etc. And then you think, okay, well, how long is it going to take to do that? And that obviously comes with experience. You think, okay, me and Nigel on site, got to get the ladders out. I reckon it's going to be 3 hours. And you know what? It was 3 fucking hours.
Are you
3 hours, 2 men? So you build for 6 man hours.
So is visualizing it. You're like a visualizer, like it's going to take this long, and you quote the materials. That's how you work. You're not got any like patterns or software like that.
No, it's just a case of thinking. Obviously, there are certain unknowns on most sites. So this guy was saying, "No, is the estimate? How accurate is that going to be?" And I'm like, "Look, that's my best best educated guess. I haven't seen inside your attic. I haven't tested your
Oh, really?
installation. I haven't tested your installation to make sure that the earthing's there, the polarity is okay, that it's all bona fide, that I'm not going to pull off the front of the CU and water's going to pour out or any shit like that. But assuming that we can do it the way that we expect to do it, and that we'll get up in the attic and find there are no surprises, then
I
it should
don't
take
know. I'm sorry.
just no amount of time.
I don't know how. Our experience with the wholesalers, I had to go. I work for a firm now, and if I do any little jobs, I have to get my credit card and claim back on expenses. So I go into the wholesalers, just buy the stuff, and I'm well out of the game with this kind of thing because well, I'm not well out of the game. I've only been working for about 6 months, but I went in there, bought 2 drums of Cat 5 and some bits and bobs from date runs. When he said the number, I was like, "You what?" It's like 400 quid. I was like, "How far have I been out of the game?" Did a drum of Cat 5 used to be 50 quid or something like that? And like
Yeah, that is a consideration. You do have to watch the fucking
that's
prices
what I
rise.
mean. How does a domestic spark jobbing like you do keep on top of that? It must be a nightmare at the minute.
I don't fucking look at it. The trouble, I use Your Trade Base. If you go to my website, you'll find an affiliate link for a discount off Your Trade Base. But I've got my materials. Shut up, Sam. Fuck off, Sam. I've got my materials listed on there. So yeah, it will say something like if you're putting in SWA 6mm, SWA 3 core, we'll have a price per meter on my
Hang on,
system.
this is interesting. Is this a freely available thing, or is that something you built up?
No, this is an off-the-shelf invoicing estimate job tracking package.
Oh, right.
So I go in and every time I add a material line. So I've added the material line that 6mm SWA 3 core costs this much per meter. Now I've got to be a bit careful with that because I will happily fire out all these estimates saying, yes, I'm going to install this stuff and it's going to cost this much. But I've got to be careful that the prices, I'm going to keep an eye on what I'm being charged for this stuff.
But that's last week's
amend
price,
that manually.
That's last week's price that you're quoting.
Yeah. So every now and again, I just have a bit of a house check because I go through all the invoices that come from CEF or whatever at the end of the month anyway, and sometimes I'll look at them and go, "Oh fuck, I've been that's got to buy a little bit. I need to adjust my price." But you build in a bit of markup anyway, don't you, to account for this sort of stuff?
Yeah,
and at the same token, sometimes things drop down very rarely, and you can sometimes there's a bit of a time shift between it's dropping down and one amending one's.
I haven't bashed them asses for a long time, yeah. But what I will say is, it's not easy anyway bashing asses. But the hardest bit at the minute must be the paperwork. Is bonkers. Like the stuff's up and down like tarts, knickers. People ain't got no money. People knock you down, and to keep it on top of that must be an absolute nightmare in the domestic game at the minute.
So I was talking to someone locally, and they're a spark locally, and they're like, "Mate, I spend most of my time doing quotes." Going out, speaking to people. He said, like, the amount of work I'm getting for the amount of time I'm putting in quoting ain't worth it. He said, it's not worth it. I might as well go back on the circuit and just do commercial industrial.
Would you not argue he should put his price up, though? Oh, yeah, I don't know all about it.
He won't sell on price. But because he's not got an established name, he's kind of screwed. Because if you ain't selling on price when you first start, you've got to sell on personality. And he's a bit lacking on that.
Yeah, I love covering and spreading my knowledge, but if I started going like I know what to do with the domestic game, I'd be fucking lying because I ain't got a clue. I ain't got a clue how you have to work it. I ain't got a tube of glue. But I know it's graft.
Yeah, it's not like I don't think doing like moving a socket and stuff like that is particularly technical.
Yeah, that's the right word. Yeah. That's a fake one.
But mate, it is graft. There's setting up. There's preparing your area. Putting down a sheet and all that. What
the sucky thing's called?
A sheet? You fucking what?
The sucky things use after what they called?
Vax something.
That's it. Yeah, you have to carry one of them around your van.
Yeah, you got to have. Oh, a Henry. That's it. A Henry.
As much as I'll come on here and I'll take the piss out of arse bashers and cotchy wallopers, yeah, it is graft at the minute. I do feel for you people who are doing it at the minute because it's only going to get tighter, isn't it?
See, I've been doing it a lot in the evenings and stuff like that. I've got a few local people that I do regular work for at the moment. But, mate, it is so much more difficult. It really is. It's like up and down. Like, you forget one thing, you got to back out to the motor again, get it again. It is just tiring and boring.
That's the thing. If it's down some stairs.
You're talking like a couple of commercial sparks pricks. Because domestically...
We are.
You're in someone else's house. It's their pride and joy well, some of them are, some of them are fucking shitholes. But you've got to get what they want, how they want it, in as neat a way as possible, and the mechanics of figuring out. So it might just be adding an extra socket or something, but the mechanics of doing that, working around their skirting, working around their flooring, working around their
I'll tell you what did me an ass
decor,
bashing.
and making it good and making it look good, because that's the thing. That's what a lot of people are let
Easy
down by.
fill,
They can
bro.
fuck
Easy
something
fill.
in, but it might look shit at the end of it. But getting something that just like pucker on the wall, that's
I
workmanship.
suppose they're
boys.
happy. I'll tell you, it did me an ass bashing. I did at the time. It was a few years ago. I did a footballer's house. I'll not name them, but there was a football and was in the Premiership at the time.
This guy.
There's a lot of no. I'll tell you, I got it.
I went to Tenerife. No, I went to 11erife.
I was to 11erife, yeah, and it worked. I did the job because I did home automation stuff, but every night I had to deal with this fucking trollop of a wife coming around telling me how to where to put everything, and I got fucking sick of it. And then in the end, I went to it because you can sit here as long as you want and tell me where you want your downlights in the roof. You know, after a week, no one gives a shit. But I was like, that's it. I've got to get out because I can't stand to deal with irate women talking about downlights. Sorry, irate women talking about downlights, but I couldn't give a fuck about you. Literally.
I've come across many irate women, and certainly, bored housewives, which is rather disappointing when you consider how many window cleaners and milkmen used to get it in the 70s.
I suppose if your customer base is good, but I can imagine that some sparks have a hard time.
Mate, do you know what the hardest time I had was recently? My own house. Oh my god. The amount of problems I've had decorating my daughter's bedroom. It took me fucking 6 weeks to decorate the bedroom because every time I painted the wall, the paint started peeling off because there's something on the wall. Then I'd done the whole room, and I hate painting. The regular listeners by now know how much I hate painters. I hate painters. They are not a trade, and but they're not.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Because what do you do when you're doing up your house? You don't go, oh, we'll get a painter in, because a painter goes, yeah, it's 400 quid or £650 to do a room. And you're like, yeah, nah, I'll do it myself. That's how hard their trade is. You just go, nah, do it myself. It's not that hard.
Professional painters I come across still get it all over the fucking light switch.
That's what they're for.
You paint over your old light switch and you paint over your old sockets, and then you go to Verso and you get new Verso sockets.
or buy some masking tape. Hey, anyway,
because that's exactly what I did.
I want to talk about something I noticed this week. Hey, no, it's important. This is for the sparks. All this new technology coming out. AFDDs got recalled, I believe. If anyone's seen it, anyone seen the news?
We have. So
someone, all this new technology is coming out. Sorry, everyone's watching this. My earphone keeps going from here. All this new technology keeps coming out, and I'm sure I predicted this. Yeah, these mini computers. In fact, Dave, can I credit you? You are the first spark on YouTube for FDDs. I think that's correct. To their house.
I was in there fairly early on.
You was well early to the game. I'm watching your video. I was working at college because it's the only thing going. So are you getting on with them out of interest while as I walk into this news I've got?
In my house, so far so good. But do I trust them to last? The
what brand?
60 much technical. Wilex.
And why?
Or Electrum. Why Wilex? Because I had a Wilex plastic insulated consumer unit.
So bollocks. That's it.
And also, Wilex were the first to market. Well, Electrium with Wilex and Crabtree were the first to market with a AFDD, MCB, RCBO combo thing. A one unit does it all.
I've been hammering on this podcast that I've used Fusebox in my house, and I find them all right just because it's the truth. And then this week, theirs have been recalled, and it begs the question. Is stuff moving too fast?
I don't think it's just Fusebox though.
I'm just
it is just Fusebox, but it's not a safety recall, which is why it's so quiet. Why it's on the down low. It's not a safety recall. They're not saying that their product is problematic and you have to go out and replace their equipment. It's a voluntary recall. There are situations, is my understanding, having spoken to my account manager. It's a local wholesaler. Not mentioning any CEFs. My understanding is that there's an issue that may cause them to trip when they shouldn't. So it's more of a nuisance trip. But what they're saying is if you've got it out there and it's in an application where it's not nuisance tripping, it's okay. It's just that if you put it in and you find that it's tripping when it shouldn't be, it may be a firmware glitch and they can replace it for one.
I'm not even hammering. I'm not going to hammer them because it happens. People get stuff recorded all the time. But what I do feel is
it's not about that.
What I feel is I feel for them because they've probably done the R&D, but it's all new. But also feel for like, how would a domestic spark use put? You know, if it was a recall, it's not a recall. But if it was, how does a domestic sparky swallow that up? Or how does any sparky swallow up going around and changing all them?
I saw someone on Twitter as well. They were saying Hager might be a better choice for this sort of thing because theirs are going to have Bluetooth, which means you can update the firmware yourself. I don't know about you, but I do not want to get into the situation where I'm having to fucking update the firmware on my fucking protective devices.
And to be fair to Fusebox, because I don't want to say like that, this could happen to any manufacturer. This could happen to any manufacturer, but also Bluetooth. You could have someone in the car outside hacking your thing and turning your brakes off. That might sound mental, but that could happen. And that, if they do that, that will happen. Because people will go around and go, oh, turn your lights off, dickhead. People do that.
Well, this is it. Mine are offline. Mine have got no internet connectivity, so they're self-contained. They're not upgradable. They've got the programming on that they came out the factory with. And so long as there are no bugs with that programming, they'll just do their thing until they start failing. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get in early, because I want to see how well they do in a real-world domestic environment.
How much did you spend? Because you were well over the game.
1,300 quid, and no, they wouldn't give me any for free, the bastards.
Gee, for what? You got 2 boards, don't you think I remember saying? But that's still.
I think I've got nine AFDDs, and everything else is at MCB and RCB. I didn't put them on things like lighting because I didn't see the point. So it's on things like electric shower, the EV charge points,
what are they going for? What are they going for nowadays? How much is an AFDD at the minute? I'm out of the game.
So am I, but I don't believe the price dropped very much. Fusebox, who of course is a budget brand compared to many, their AFDD when it got released earlier this year, I think it was not far off what I paid for mine back in 2020, and mine were the market leading Wilex ones at the time. The price saving per unit was only like 15 quid or
how much is an AFDD?
Over 100 quid still for most of them.
Also, Dave, do me a favour. We all listen. I accept the fact I'm the dumbest spark in this room at any one time.
You're the only spark in that room.
Tell me, in Savo terms, what is an AFDD? What does it do, and why is it an important upgrade?
Fucking hell, you don't need to tell me that, do you? It's it monitors for arc signatures, but basically loose connections. Well, I say that loose connections if it's a series arc. Parallel arc would be something where you've got damaged insulation, for example.
Right. So, what's the difference between a series arc and a parallel arc?
The series arc is something like, when you get your shower isolator that burns out.
Yeah.
That's kind of series arcing. It's when you've got 2 connections together. There's a bit of a loose connection, and you've got arcing going on between those connections. A parallel arc is when you've got something arcing from line to earth or line to neutral. I obviously expect line to earth. You'd expect the RCD to go if the current.
So why is it an actual thing now then? Like why have they brought it out to replace everything else?
Well, it doesn't replace everything; it augments everything else. So it's something that you would apply per circuit, same as you would these days with RCD protection, and it's supposed to stop electrical fires forming through things like loose connections or damaged insulation. So it's in conjunction with your overcurrent protection. It's in conjunction with your earth leakage protection.
What are they going to come up with next, though? What are they going? Where are they going to go next?
Jamie, one sec, mate. I feel like this is a good time to interject with a message from our sponsors asking us a question about AFDDs.
Hi guys, William here from Verso Electrical. So my question to you this week is, with Amendment 2 in and around the corner, as of the 28th of September it becomes fully compliant, you have to be using the Amendment 2. So with the big topic about AFDDs still being hot topic, mainly because of the price point, do you think we'll ever see AFDDs mandatory across all housing types on socket circuits not exceeding 32 amps? And if so, when do you see it? Now, I know you're going to mention price, but there are other factors to think about as well. So first of all, I'd like to know what price point you think it'd have to be for that to become a situation. But also, I'd like to think about other situations that are coming up, like nuisance tripping and other parts of AFDDs that people might not be aware of.
What is your thought on that question? And don't say what question.
Will AFDDs become mandatory on installation? First of all, why 32 amps or under? Most of the arc faults I see are on things like shower circuits, 32 amps or over. So I don't know why they're limiting it. Why did they ever limit it to 32 amps? Don't get that. And why would you bother on something like 6 amps? My pissing around with AFDDs, I had trouble tripping anything below something like a kilowatt in power with my messing around here, which is all very unscientific, but still. The ones I was playing with, I just couldn't get them to trip unless I put some significant load on it, which you're just not going to see on most lighting circuits. Second thing is, I would say that the way of the future is perhaps not individual circuit protection like this, but perhaps, and I'd hate to say it, smart consumer units, where you've got a central CPU that's kind of monitoring all circuit ways for things like arc faults. Because at the moment, I've got 9 computers in my fucking consumer unit, which is ridiculous. And as far as I'm concerned, unrealistic, unsustainable, unlikely to catch on unless the price point really bottoms out, which how can it ever when you're talking about sticking CPUs in devices like this? If you have, and why also it's I know you want to jump in, Sam, but why also do you need that kind of processing power per circuit when one of those computers, if it were set up correctly, could monitor the whole bally lot in one go? And I'm not talking about having a single AFDD monitoring multiple circuit ways like an RCD monitors multiple circuit ways, because the wiring regulations will never allow that to happen, because that would become just a single point of failure thing like the RCD always was. It notices a fault, trips off all circuits. I'm talking about something that is intelligently monitoring each circuit way. It can say, circuit way 5, I'm detecting a series arc on that. I'm going to pull a power on that, or raise an alarm, or do something about it. But that's fucking killed it, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's good information. I love it. I love learning this stuff. I've got a question for you though. How much is each one of those? Like we're in this world of like we're going into winter now. Say someone's just had their board upgraded. We're going into winter. We've got skyrocketing fuel bills for electricity across the board. Everything's going up. We're all struggling. We're all noticing it now. The turn of weather is coming into, well, it's October now. The weather's turned. We're all starting to put our heating on and stuff. I'm at work with people and they're like, listen, the heating ain't going on till it's minus. Do you know what I mean? What are these mini computers, these AFDDs, drawing?
I did work it out on mine back in 2020 when I installed it, and I think I figured out it would cost me something like £8 a year or something in extra energy bills. It might not be that, something around that, but that would obviously scale up to today's price. It does add a few pounds onto your energy bill because you've got this extra.
You're probably looking at about 20 quid now, especially through the winter.
It
was £8 when you made £8 when you made that video. That could be 30 quid next year.
Yeah, it could.
Could be.
Well, also,
obviously, the payoff is that hopefully I'm not going to experience any fires through arc faults in my property.
Mate,
how long have you been Dave? I know you retrained. How long have you been sparking now?
10 years. This is year 10.
Were RCDs in when you started?
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
Yeah,
RCDs came in. Well, the dual RCD stuff came in around 2008, didn't it, for the 17th edition?
I remember when RCDs were hardly a thing, and I've seen all this before. Anyone that's just been sparking as long as me for like, I don't know, 22 years, yeah? This is RCDs all over again. They start off dead expensive, they'll filter through, next thing you know, they're £6 down, screw fix. And this is just the same 20
The thing is that this is a very
RCBOs
much more intelligent device than the RCD. This has a lot more silicon in it, a lot more. And you know what the problem is with silicon at the moment, and the talk of a chip shortage, because everything's got a frigging chip in it these days. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that it's sustainable, but I also don't see that it's a very clever way of doing it, having everything in an individual device when you could have a
Mm.
central CPU monitoring everything.
So what do you reckon? Like Fuseboards are going to be like way more involved rather than just being a carcass with like a couple of buzz bars in.
It'd be like an
It'd
ECU,
be-
isn't it? It'd be like an ECU in a car. You'd have
A Raspberry
10...
Pi in there.
Yeah, it'd be like that. I reckon you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? As well as that, if you start getting into stuff that's intelligent and that you've got to keep maintained, well, first of all, you've got to keep it maintained. We were talking earlier about updating firmware on your fucking protective devices.
Who wants to
But
do that?
everyone's into micropayments these days. So what's the betting that if Hager bring out a smart board, you will have to pay something like £5 a month to them for security updates or whatever, or they can say after 5 years, "I'm sorry, that model's end of line now. You've got to get CU version 2.0."
It'd be like,
We can
all going
stop
that
your
way.
family from dying. Please pay $4.99.
No, do you know what? Are you actually giving us a look into the future with that? Imagine having to pay £5 a month to subscribe to Schneider or what? Name a brand to fucking not have your fuse board go out of service.
it will
They'll have
happen.
remote diagnostics, mate. They won't. You won't be phoning the electrician going, "My LCD's tripping off." They'll be phoning up Hager themselves, going, "Why's why's protected device number 5 tripping off?" "Ah, yes, sir."
Someone
Well,
on Twitter
I'm
put, someone on
protecting
Twitter
that
put,
your washing machine has an arc fault, and
someone on Twitter put, won't it be great when we? I'm not saying this. Whoever this is, if you recognise it, yeah, I'm not slagging it up. But this some put, wouldn't it be great when they're all Bluetooth? We could look at his phones and app. I couldn't give a fuck. Like, as long as it all works. I don't want to watch how much current's going through my lighting circuit. You
look,
can't get
there'll
away
be a
with it.
security flaw. Some fucker will hack into it. There'll be some security flaw that you haven't patched your fucking RCD properly, and some bastard will come along and start tripping it
The
off or get
more
onto your
stuff,
network.
the more stuff that goes online, the more time the power will spend off as we get hacked by international countries. They blew up a fucking gas pipeline the other day under the sea. You think they're not going to turn your lights off? Of course they fucking are.
Do you know what?
I'm going to get my fucking AFDDs.
You coming out tonight? No, mate, my AFDD's crashed. Can't go use the
Is
hairdryer.
it that bad? Is it that much of a thing? I can't believe they're offering Bluetooth connectivity. That's fucking mental. Who wants to connect their Bluetooth to AFDD? Oh, look,
You say that, but
off.
Ventaxia years ago, and they're still on the market as far as I know, they came out with Savara, which is a bathroom fan that has Bluetooth connectivity. You can sit
Really?
Yeah.
Are you
and control
joking?
the speed of your fucking fan. You look it up. Ventaxia Savara. It's a
No.
Bluetooth
And then you find
fucking
out that as well as
fan.
controlling your fan speed, it's looking at all the photos on your phone.
Probably,
Because
it's
when
just
you
probably
click on, I
watching you have
agree,
a shit.
I agree, yeah, I agree. It says, oh, do you know your fan's going too fast? And stop putting pictures of your boobies in your photos. What?
Sucking off into the toilet, and you keep an eye on what your fan's watching.
That's it, we're done. And they really got a Bluetooth app. They've got an app for a bog fan.
You see, yeah, this is why I'm happy to be old, because by the time all this really kicks off, I'll be pushing up the fucking daffodils.
I've got to admit, right,
Leaving you assholes to it.
I've just bought into a smart homes a bit. I've got some dimmable lights because I'm sure people remember this, right? My little girl lives in this room. It's her room, and the toilets across the landing, yeah. And not in the old days, the lamp outside my landing, I'd go and buy a 4-watt bulb and put it in there, so at night she could just see what she's doing, but she doesn't need the big bright light on. Yeah, you try and find a bulb like that nowadays, you cannot do it. So I had to go to IKEA, buy a smart bulb, and dim it. So I've sort of got into it a bit, and then we realised that they're quite good. We've got a little baby, so we can dim the lights when he gets up in bed. And I'm sort of buying into it. I'm thinking, I don't want some Chinese kid coming here turning my lights off. Even me, as like a person that knows all about stuff being kept to the internet, I've been sucked in. And if the more people that get like that, they'll just go, "Oh, are you going to comply, UK? No, lights off, gone."
It's a funny thing. I wonder how long it'd be before like head torches have Bluetooth in them.
Yeah, voice activated and all this kind of shit. This rather spiffing one here has some kind of. I don't know
That's
how
the
to use
type.
it,
That's the
but
type of head torch that you would take fishing next to a Boy Scout convention, though.
And get your hard drive checked.
Oh, that's fucking bright.
How good is it?
There you go.
Do you know what?
Wave control.
Fuck. Why it all waves at you?
So you have to find where the buttons are. Well, we don't have to turn it off now.
It's not. It's not
This
idiot
is what I'm
proof, is it?
saying. However, we move on. What is the next subject, Jamie?
It is. My iCloud signed out, so I can't fucking tell you. We talked about the FDDs, and what else happened this week? It's been a quiet week.
No, well, it's definitely not been a quiet week.
I want to talk about Dave because I've wanted him on. People said we should go together, so I want to talk about Dave. So I want to know.
I've got to be honest. You two do have a certain synergy.
I'll be honest. When I saw David Savary first, I was like, oh, I could be a dickhead on YouTube. Great, and now I might get some viewers. But yeah, late trainer, late joiner to the game, which is fair one. I think everyone, I'll just say this out loud, I think everyone should give retrainers and apprentices get an hard time. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are moaning there's no decent trades about it. It's because you treat them like dicks. So I've got a lot of time for retrainers, even though people think, oh, I haven't. But yeah, late to the game, and I think you put out some good content and stuff like that. But I want to go into that.
Yeah, but I think Savo's a bit of a different one, isn't he? He's a bit of a different one.
The only problem with him, he ain't got a gold card, has he?
No, peasant.
Yeah, here we go. Fucking boring and predictable.
Well, you haven't though, have you? You not got a gold card, have you?
Fucking gold card assholes.
So what? But you've retrained. You've retrained.
But what does it mean to you? It means you can stand around by a school playground with your gold card, going, "Oh, that doesn't impress the kids."
Well, but you're retraining already. You've come into our gang, but you don't want to follow our rules, do you?
No, don't you? But I'll tell you what, I'll take the fucking Pepsi challenge with any of you motherfuckers any day.
Yeah, he always says this. He always says it.
Assholes.
It's the thing is though, I just don't get it because you come into the game. I'm not going to go.
Please, ECS. Please take my money, ECS. I'll part my buttocks for you, ECS.
Effectively, you come in the game taking work off Spark because they've done a 4-year apprenticeship, and now you're taking all the bottom feeding, aren't you?
I find quite offensive, actually. You're basically calling people like me. Basically calling people like me and James Bundy assholes.
I'm not calling James Beck an asshole. But what I'm saying is, you come into the trade.
You and I both know.
He'll appreciate
it. You take all the bottom. What I'm saying is, when you retrade, it's great, yeah. But why can't you get a gold card like the rest of us? You come in and take all the low feed hanging fruit.
Listen, I fucking keyboard warrior here. Fucking you and me. If we went outside now, I'd straighten you out.
Why are you taking all? Why can't you get a gold card? Get a gold card, mate. Don't come and take all the low hanging fruit off Spark because it's trained for 4 years. Well, you can't come in here. You come in. Do your kitchen rewires badly with your fucking screw thick shit, and then come over here.
I'm the asshole who fixes your fucking work, son.
Well, but you can't come over to the game and not want to play by the rules that we've got of getting cards and qualifications properly. You just want to come on and miss all that money out and fucking take all the shit work with your ass bashing fucking plaster filled van.
Fuck you. Let's take it outside, you fuck.
Get fucking prick, mate. Cancel it.
Yes. Big shout out to James Beck. I love it. Big shout out to maybe Bundy. But these two are hilarious. Didn't buy it for a second, did I?
Fucking hell. Jeez. He's had enough booze as well.
Fucking hell. I'll tell you what. You slap like a woman.
Oh look, he's come back with a black eye.
If you want to fight about it, mate.
Viewers out there, Savo's come back with a black eye. It's not.
That was me walking into the door. That was nothing to do with Jamie.
I need to review the footage because I think at one point Sam was sucked in a little bit before he realised.
No way! I was loving it. Listen, I love it. It's brilliant. Listen, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, I do believe whether it's a gold card or not gold card, every electrician in the industry should be trained to the same level.
You know, I'm going to be honest now. We have been having a while and everyone's listening and thinking what the fuck's going on. I spoke to, I think it might have been A1 Electrical, who we're on. Who's also got, there's Welsh lad. Is A1, isn't it?
I don't know.
We had him on a few weeks ago. Wayne.
Mate, I'm so drunk, I don't know.
Who's also got an amazing side channel.
Even I heard that one. Come on.
He's got an amazing side channel because he's a professional competition eater, which is brilliant. But anyway, he came on. He says he messaged me on Instagram, and was saying like, are the apprentices bad, or are they trained by bad people?
No, apprentices have always been bad, and apprentices have always been good.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, now we've got people who are poorly trained, training people poorly.
No, I don't think that's the case. Honestly, since the dawn of time, since Tesla and Edison had a big row like you and Savo, right? It's been the same. There's been two ways of doing things since the dawn of electricity.
But there is a skill shortage, isn't there, at the minute? That's
No,
the
there
problem.
isn't a skill shortage. What there is
for everything.
A lack of continuity between training shortage.
Wasn't there an informative article in Professional Electrician about something?
See, this is what I'm saying.
I can't remember which issue. The landscape's changed, though, hasn't it, for late entrants now? It's more difficult to get in and get on. And
no, nothing's changed, right? The same thing for the last 20 years since I've been in it. And before that, there's not one single way of becoming an electrician. There's multiple ways of becoming an electrician.
The problem is, and I will say something like that. If you've got trainees, no matter young or old, and you start, give them the time of day. That's what you got to do in it. Then I've said this before, electricians shit on each other.
No, I don't think you should give every trainee. Like, I was working with one guy, right? He's a nice guy, sweetheart, but he didn't want to listen. So when you tell him, right, you need to file the ends and you need to spray them, and then you need to put the end caps on.
Hey, that's domestic, that's industrial shit you don't understand, yeah?
And he goes, mate, I'm just putting the end caps on. Don't need to fucking do all the filing. Why? What are you talking about? No one ever does that. I'm not going to argue with him. I'm going to go,
apprentices have always been
mate.
Like that, yeah.
Okay, mate, it's all good. Bye-bye. He's never going to get another ounce of information out of me because you're arguing with me over basics. The basic bottom of it, you're arguing. I can't have it. So go fuck yourself. I'll talk to you. I'll be friendly. I'll be civil. Whatever. I even go to breakfast with you on a Friday. But everything else, go fuck yourself.
I'd like people to contact. I'd like doing a podcast on this about skills and that because I generally think there's a skill shortage in every trade.
There's not a skill shortage.
Well, days through the roof of work, so that means there's a shortage of domestic sparks, does it not?
No, it's not. There's a skill shortage. No, there's not a skill shortage. There's a shortage of continuity in training.
Quality sparkies should look after other sparkies to produce.
No, they shouldn't.
We've got to look after each other.
No, it's a top-down thing. It's top-down when it comes to training. If everyone is training to the same level, then you can help each other. But if you don't know what level to train everyone to, like look at Savo. Like listen, there's about 5 people in the world that know more than him about electrical shit.
My kids, you could be just like me.
Look at the state of it. He's a half-wit who knows these technical shit inside and out.
I've got to speak about something. I've got to speak about something while he's on. I've got to speak about something. I don't take it seriously.
Fuckface.
When you have then.
I'm quite drunk.
Jesus. You sound like that guy that rings me for a Sunday night. I've got to speak today. I've got to ask you about something. I've got to say about something. Yeah, I've said it on this thing.
Listen, you got a face like a beanbag. Shut up.
Who's beanbag? I've got to say, I've got to go serious for 1 minute. Yeah, the Harvey Terrell video is absolutely brilliant. Best video I've ever seen. Every spark should watch it.
What?
That little kid who got that
guy
was
that
a
got
very sad
killed.
event.
Every single 2-3-9-1 I've ever taught, that video's got shown at the start of it. And then, but obviously your range is from that, which is a proper good serious video, to you pretending to do a shit in your van. How does that work?
I didn't pretend anything.
You remember the time when you was bumming a cardboard cutout of artisan or something?
It was only his head, to be fair.
Have you ever been to a job that gone, I knew that spark of YouTube that shits in the back of his van or something like that? Do you get any customers having seen on YouTube? Is that something that happens?
Yeah, I don't like that actually. The when someone says,
I wonder why.
To a job. It seems to work out fairly well for the most part. Most people sort of like, I think I've seen you on YouTube. I want you to do a job for me. I always think, that puts me off actually. So,
is that because you are? Is it a character? Is it a bit of a character in the video? It's a bit more of a character, isn't it? I'm guessing. You don't
yeah. I'm not really drinking, burping, smoking, lay about arsehole at all.
What I do want to know is how did you decide to be like that on YouTube? What the fuck? How can I watch a video of you and Nigel fault find a lighting circuit for an hour on YouTube and actually learn something when I've been doing this 20 years? I find that baffling. If anyone is not watching Dave on YouTube, you should get across there because there's some mad shit going off.
He is half a lunatic, to be fair.
We play up to the camera a bit. We are just filming our day. I mean, we were on a fault finding job yesterday, which we didn't film, but it was very interesting, as fault finding always is. Because even if you don't find the fault, if you find a way to get around the fault, that's half the battle sometimes, isn't it? You're never going to, you're not always going to be 100% on the fault.
This is the thing I'll say to people watch your videos. Yeah, like there's a fault find. I think it's in a flat, like doing the light fault. And I said to apprentice, watch that video. It's really, really interesting, and it's funny. And they take it apart and dissect into all the bits, and the technical stuff is bang on. And he went, "I'm not watching that for an hour." And I thought, if you're not willing to watch it for an hour, you couldn't do that for the rest of your fucking life.
No, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
Say, it's too long, and it's like, yeah, but it is. I mean, just filming what it is. It's just,
it's like it's naturally occurring. That's what you're going to get, and you might think, oh, fuck out. Oh, I remember.
We're not asking anybody to watch it. You get people well, you know what it's like. You get people coming along going, I can't believe I wasted my time on this. You're an asshole.
Well,
I never fucking invited you here, mate. I don't give a fuck if you like it.
I know exactly
I didn't ask you to turn up. It's just there. You could choose to watch it. You could choose to fuck off. It's something to do with me.
Do you get trolled much? Because I imagine your attitude, you wouldn't. Or is that, do they still go for it?
At the beginning, everybody, I think, gets, especially a few years ago, perhaps not so much now, I don't know, but it used to be the case that everybody got detractors. You could put anything out and you'd have someone coming back going, you don't know shit, you asshole, you're the worst person in the world, or whatever. But one likes to think one returns any shit that is dished out.
Yeah, I'm never a bash at that.
Well, I've got a question. Savo, who is your favourite influencer at the moment?
Influencer?
As in YouTube Spark, Instagram Spark, whatever.
I have to be honest, I don't watch Spark stuff.
You don't get
I'm quite jaded with the industry at the moment, and the whole it's taken over my life to such an extent, the business, that I'm sick of it, which is one of the reasons why videos haven't been very forthcoming lately. It's just a fucking job at the moment because there's so much coming in and it's taken up all my time, and no matter how much time I throw at it, there's still people disappointed because I haven't got back to them, still people shouting at me because they're waiting on estimates, still people waiting on fucking reports and invoices and that kind of thing. It's just like, there's just no switching off from it unless you just completely switch off from it.
I think
so. At the moment, I'm well behind on videos, with the exception of Monday Club, of course, which I was listening to while working.
Yeah, but you do realise you are part of Monday Club folklore.
Folklore, what?
I think the best content on YouTube is people that don't put out. I don't want to offend anyone, but I think the best content on YouTube is people that are ad hoc. And that's not everyone.
Like, I'm gonna say it, and to this day, Naji.
Yeah, I watch everything he puts out. Absolutely everything he puts out.
I think if you've got something to say, and it's then say it. But I think if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it for YouTube, you're missing the point, really.
Yeah, I think organic, irregular content. All the people I watch on YouTube, which I watch a lot of really boring stuff that Sam David mentioned it, but it's just ad hoc. It's not weeklies. It's not regular things. It's not every Friday got a new video. It's just people putting out natural videos because they feel like they're worth recording.
Well, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, but this isn't YouTube though, is it? This is
yeah. I don't know what the fuck this is, but I mean,
what is this?
I don't know. Why are we here? What day is it? But just like the video, the content stuff.
A podcast is a different thing. There, this is when you get people just chatting shit. That's all right as well. I can do that. I'd rather do people chatting shit than people quoting regs at me, because I'll switch off with that. And for things, I know you were a couple of episodes ago, 2-3 episodes, you were talking about should we still even have stuff on YouTube? Yeah, you should. You still should put this on YouTube because I'm not on any fucking podcast platforms. I wouldn't know where to start with it and wouldn't have any interest. But
We've been having a lot of
apart from the
people
fact that when I try and listen to this shit in the van, I've got to keep the phone on because it won't let me turn the screen off. And there
Unless
are
you
adverts
Premiere.
every 15 fucking seconds. Cheers, Sam. Apart from that,
I
it's
don't.
quite
Here's the
listenable.
thing. Here's the thing. I don't choose the adverts. I just press a button. It goes adverts. I'm not getting involved in that. Too complicated. Bang. Next. I don't touch nothing. It's what YouTube puts in.
What I told you was odd, yeah. Anyone from the if you want a bit of behind the scenes, yeah. When Sam said, "Do you want to do this?" I was like, "Oh," I said to my missus, "Hour a week and we'll do this podcast." Yeah, that is bollocks. We speak every single day and discuss things every single day about what we should do, how we should get people to interact more, and all that. And we are generally trying to be the electricians podcast for electricians. We are really everybody. And the one thing I'd say could make it better for us is the comments. The comments is everything to us.
Comments are king to us because the more people comment, the more we can tailor the content. Now, here's an interesting fact. Who did I ask before I asked Jamie to replace Bundy?
You fucking said I was the first choice. You.
This guy here, old Savo. I phoned him up and he went, "Do you know what, old boy? I don't really have much to talk about. I don't give a fuck. Probably not the best person." Am I wrong?
Well, work tonight.
Well, you're wrong in the fact that I would have been the best person for the job because I think Jamie is. I think you two are a natural fit. And yes, I don't have enough to talk about every week. Certainly, I just end up recycling the same shit. And like I say, I don't have enough hours in the day to even send out my invoices, let alone do this every week. I don't know how you boys find the time.
I don't do much.
But then you're Commercial Spark, so it's not like it's a real job, is it?
I literally read. All my job is I read PDFs
You
all day.
ECS wankers, ECS wankers.
It is harder before, and if anyone's journalist to this, we're trying to bring in more stuff. If anyone's got to say, get in the comments, message me on Instagram, get through. We are determined to become the Electricians podcast for electricians to get more people interacting.
And on that note, Monday Club, we out.